So I had an interesting encounter while I was driving. I had this internal vision come through, and I just wanted to share it because it's a perfect representation of oneness, of non-duality, of complete presence and union. I was listening to this rap song, and it was going, I don't remember the lyrics. It's like switching to glide, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And then it said, we're gonna leave you crucified. And then when it said, we're gonna leave you crucified, I had this vision. It was Jesus on the cross, but it was me. From the first person perspective up there, crucified on the cross. And I felt what Jesus was feeling when the egos, the separate egoic identities were like, if you really are the Son of God, save yourself. And he was just like, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. There was zero resistance in Jesus towards the circumstance. Picture that, being crucified on the cross, being crucified, you're nailed to wood, you're nailed, you can't come down, you're not doing anything. It's full unconditional surrender. It's really hard in circumstances in life that are very sharp, that are very intense. We have a tendency to fight for our rights, to fight for certain things. And I'm not saying every circumstance we need to be a pushover, we need to let things go. I'm talking about spiritually speaking. Spiritually speaking, when we let go of resistance, when we let go of conflict, when we let go of fighting internally in our heart, see, you can be fighting for something externally, standing up for something, but not have anger and hurt and resentment and attachment in your heart. You can be disattached from the outcome, but still doing what is right, doing what is true, doing what you believe is the highest in that situation. It comes to when we have resistance in our heart and we're going, I need to come down from this cross. I need to overcome these circumstances in life. I need to have this happen in order to be okay. I need to have this happen, whatever it is. Notice how Jesus is the perfect analogy, the perfect parable his life lived. His whole life lived is a parable that we can extract amazing knowledge from. So here's the deal. When he was up on the cross, and I felt it. I felt it. He was fully surrendered, fully yielded. And doesn't it say that he said he gave up his spirit? He gave it up. He surrendered it to the Father. He was perfectly in alignment with the divine flow orchestration of life, even though that divine orchestration of life was crucifying his body, was crucifying his separate self. And the cross is the ultimate picture of union. We are trees throughout the Bible. It says, cursed is a man who hangs on a tree. Jesus, the man, Yeshua, I should say, because his name wasn't Jesus, it was Yeshua. Yeshua was nailed to a cross. The cross is a tree. Tree is humanity. It was divinity. He embodied his divine consciousness. He embodied the Son of God consciousness. That's why he was the Son of God and the Son of Man. He embodied his union with the divine. Me and my Father are one. Nailed to humanity, divinity nailed to humanity on the place of Golgotha, the place of the skull. It's union of God in you, in the temple, where the veil is torn, and you remove the veil so that we can realize and actualize union within ourselves. And in that place of union, we can fully surrender to life circumstances. God, I don't know how this relationship is going to pan out. I thought my person was going to be here already. God, I don't know how I'm going to be abundant and make money. I thought I was supposed to be wealthy already. God, I can't get over this health issue. I keep having these reoccurring injuries or issues, losing weight or overcoming this or that. All of these things that we go through in our life need to be surrendered and yielded to like you are being crucified on the cross. This life in this human experience is a crucifixion to the separate self, to the ego, until we realize that we're actually nailed to the cross, that we're in union with God, and your resurrection is coming. And your blessing, your promises are coming. How many people are still waiting for the promises of God to be manifest? Did you know that those promises of God will never be able to come to you energetically until you're yielded, until you're surrendered, until you're in vibrational harmony and alignment with that which you are asking for, with that which you are believing for? In James it says, a double-minded man or woman shall not receive anything from God. That is not the judgmental sky God going, oh, you're double-minded, you're not getting anything. When you're double-minded, you're in belief and you're in the high vibration of yes, it's coming and I'm grateful. But then you're also on the other side the next day, the next morning, the next minute going, oh my God, but yeah, like I don't have anything in my bank account. I know that large sum of money is coming, but I don't have anything right now. And it's an incoherent, you're sending out a vibration of lack from your heart, and then you're sending out a vibration of gratitude. And it's an incoherent, double-minded signal, and it's not in harmonic alignment. So the vibrational match isn't there for God, for the universe, for the promise to flow through into your life. Do you understand? And so the cross is the ultimate picture of surrender. Surrender out of duality, where we're fighting in a dueling reality. Take me down from this cross. Change this situation in my life. And all the separate egos are yelling at Jesus, the Pharisees, the people, if you are the Son of God, prove yourself. It's always about proving. It's always about performing. It's always about the measuring stick. If you are this, then do this to prove it. Okay? All of that is duality. Can we find the place of peace in our heart? For he was the Prince of Peace. Can we find the place of peace in our hearts? Can we find the Christ essence that we are in our hearts and find peace in rule over all of the circumstances in our lives? Rule over all of the heartache, over all of the lack, because the Lord, Christ within me, is my shepherd, I shall not lack. Okay? The life that you are living that is crucifying you is actually your greatest teacher. It is your shepherd. You shall not lack when you yield and surrender to the divine flow of life. Matthew 6 says, first seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be given unto you. Okay? Seek first, go within to the kingdom inside of you, and righteousness, right alignment with your true self that isn't fighting in duality, but is living through the tree of life. And then all things will be given unto you. Why? Because you are in harmonic alignment. You're in right alignment with your true self. You're in right alignment with union with God and the all. So it will all come to you and flow to you. Jesus said it this way, take no thought for tomorrow will take care of the things of itself. He says, look at the birds of the air. They don't sow and reap. Look at the lilies of the field. They're not spinning and toiling and worrying about this stuff, yet God takes care of them. How much more valuable are you than them? Why? Because God is in all and through all. God is the loving, intelligent force that is growing the grass, growing the lilies, feeding the robins, living in and through the robins, living in and through life. And we are, in our minds, separate from that life, according to Colossians 2. We've been alienated and separated in our minds, thinking that we're not a part of the one whole God source that's beautifully unfolding in divine alignment. And so, my encouragement to you today is to yield, to surrender to the circumstances that are happening in your life. Notice where resistance is there and give yourself permission to yield. And if you don't want to yield, then come up here to a higher vibrational awareness in the present moment, and you can begin to see your mind patterns that are attaching to specific things. I'll only be happy if I get this done. I need to fight for this. And it's all the mind and addictive thinking patterns and the ego that's creating incoherent harmonic expressions in the field, and then we're living in fear, we're living in lack, and then we need to try to strive harder as a separate individual egoic identity, as the false self, as the sinful nature that feels separate from God, so we lack, therefore we need to attach. And then we need to control the outcome till the end. And it causes nothing but sadness, depression, fear, guilt, shame, condemnation, worry, striving, anger, frustration. All low vibrational states of being. Why? Because we're not surrendered. We're not realizing that what you're going through is a cross. It's a divine setup for you to level up, for you to die and then resurrect into your true self. Every single day we have these mini circumstances, these cross moments where we can fight. I was just in the bank. I was just in the bank and I'm depositing some checks. Super blessed. And there's certain things that are just coming that I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go in here. And all of a sudden I realize that there's a misspelling on one of the checks. And I go, okay, well, this might not make it into my account or whatever. And I start to worry about, oh my God, this is not going to work out. Like, I don't know, I might need to get them to rewrite the check. And this is what happened. I give them the check and she didn't see the misspelling. It's because it was very close. But what ended up happening is it was a specific amount that she couldn't just authorize on her own. And so she had to go to the back to talk to her manager, and I'm there for like 15 minutes just like waiting, and like at the beginning I'm starting to get like, oh, it's not going to work, I'm going to have to, there's going to, and all these little inconveniences, right? All these little inconveniences that really in the grand scheme of things don't matter, but I instantly caught it. And then I began to yield, and I began to go, I am the light vibration that illuminates this bank in my heart. I am whole. I am stable. I am able. It is perfectly okay. Saying these things, but also embodying them. Stepping up internally into my true self. Because truthfully, it doesn't seem like a big deal waiting for 15 minutes, but there's a lineup out the door of all these other people. They don't have enough wickets. You can feel the energy, the dense energy in the air of people that are frustrated and worried and everything like that. And as an empath, as somebody who feels that stuff, it's easy to take that on. And so all I did was begin to posture and deeply surrender. Another word would be accept what was unfolding in the now present moment. Okay? And so as it was unfolding in the now present moment that way, which was so beautiful, I began to tune in and become aware of everything that was happening, hearing different conversations, hearing what was on the radio. And it happened to be that the radio was releasing some scripture about living an abundant life. And it's like the key word is abundant, and it was like a Christian radio station that was on. And it was just like such a confirmation. And I'm like, wow, isn't this awesome? Isn't this amazing? That blessings, that even in delay, I can find that place of peace. Okay, and that's just a little example, right? But I want to just be clear about it, that even the little things are the big things. Okay, because it is the little thing after the little thing that begins to create a new harmonic expression in your life. First we think it, then we feel it, and as we feel it, it turns into a mood over time. If you feel the same thing over and over enough, if you like get cut off in traffic, and then all of a sudden like you get really angry or frustrated because you saw like one of your parents do that when you were young, and then so you get really frustrated and you got that program. Every time you get cut off, it's frustrated. So guess what? You're attracting more of that into your life. So pretty much every time you're out driving, you're getting cut off. And then the whole drive, you're frustrated and messed up. And guess what? Over time, that frustration becomes a mood. Now you're just a frustrated, angry driver. And every time you get into your car, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're messed up. And over time, that mood becomes a temperament, and it becomes your personality. And then as your personality, because as a person thinks in their heart, so are they, you begin to create an angry, frustrated personal reality where you're fighting, you're frustrated, you're angry, driving in your car all the time. Why? But it just started with that one little small thing, that first time you got cut off, right? And so when we begin to surrender and we just go, oh, that person cut me off. Okay, I surrender to that. That's okay. I fully accept that. I bless you. And you just send love to them. I bless you. It's okay. You know what I mean? You cut the energetic cord of them who cut you off, and you keep your peace, you keep your higher vibrational state, and you don't enter into that lower vibrational realm, and you can begin to align to a higher vibration and continue to attract and manifest the promises in your life, the promises of God, the whatever you want to call it, the manifestations that you're believing for, the things that you prefer in life. Okay? And so that's my encouragement to you today. The cross is a picture of union, but then embody, put yourself on there for a second. If you were getting crucified in old Roman times, you wouldn't be able to do anything. There would only be one option. You'd either fight angrily to your death and it would be terrible, or you'd be able to yield to a greater plan, a greater purpose, a greater understanding, giving up. There's liberty in giving up, because you aren't giving up. It's your ego. It's your belief system. It's your mind that is attaching to something that shouldn't be happening that gives up. And as you let go of that big baggage of the story that's happening in front of you that shouldn't be happening, you're light, you're free. The peace of God begins to rest on you. And so let's do that, man. That's how I'm living. That's how I'm living, man. I'm done fighting. I'm done striving. I'm done the performance. I like the faith rest life better. I like the oneness life better. There's no point in fighting. There's no point in doing it. But see, that doesn't mean that if you're getting hard done by and there's something happening in your life that you know you need to protect your family or you need to stand up for something, it doesn't mean don't do that. It just means don't attach to anger, frustration, murder in your heart. Don't do that. Do what you need to do, realizing that they know not what they do. See the difference? So it's not about being passive. You can still go out there and kick ass. You can still go out there and do what you need to do. Be strong, stable, and able. Step up and be powerful. But you don't need to have the judgment and attachment and low vibrations in your heart while you're externally doing what you need to do. It's a very important distinction, right? Like there's so many different things with like so many different, all the COVID policies and everything like that, and all of the bull crap that we've had to go through with mandates and stuff like that. You know what? You don't need to wear something over your face if you don't want to, but you don't need to have hate in your heart with your middle finger to everybody else. Do you know what I mean? You can hold a place of joy and peace without resisting the enemy, but still standing up for what you believe you know to be true in your heart. So you're still in an open vibration, a high vibrational state, just not partaking of the patterns and programs of the world. Okay? So that's a very important distinction too. But surrender, I'm telling you, surrender is key to enter the present moment. Okay? Acceptance of what is a portal into the isness of the divine plan unfolding, and it gives a harmonic resonant vibration in alignment with your true self that will bring about your promises of God and everything that you do prefer. Because ultimately the promises will manifest. You stop going around the mountain and you going into the promised land will manifest when the complaining, the grumbling, the patterns and programs that you got in Egypt in your past lives, when you were younger, when they're wiped out, you're entering the promised land. It's all up in us. It's all a removal of the patterns and the programs in us. All right? Much love. Hope this resonates with you. Please leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, concerns, anything that you want to dialogue about with this. This is oneness, guys. This is the divine essence of all that is. This is who we all are. We're all one in the beautiful divine dance. In the spirit, we're living, moving, and having our being. The one spirit, the one God, the one Father that's above all, in all, and through all. It's a mystical dance of perichoresis, as Trinitarian theologians would say. Okay? Some would just call it life. Okay? John called it the word vibration. The word that came down from heaven. Okay? You're a word out of heaven. You're a word vibration out of heaven. All right, we are in this quantum vibrational realm, having a human experience. We need to remove the disharmonic vibrations so that we can enter into the things that we do prefer. So it starts with the small things. Surrender, have humility, have patience, be accepting, be loving. There's a stretch. Much love, you guys. Have a great day.